This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 11. The Lord will be terrible unto them, for he will famish all the gods of the earth, and men shall worship him, every one from his place, even all the isles of the heathen. Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is the name who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai is his son who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And citation to the Akim out there pushing this truth of sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai's sake. I'm Brother Samak from the GMS Miami camp. And yes, the reason why I brought out the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 11, is I came across this article today where the headlines, spoke volumes, just how terrible the Lord is. Okay, and then I was reading the article itself, and once again, it spoke volumes. The Lord is terrible. Now, of course, we have to chew the meat, spit out the bones, meaning you got to decipher these so-called testimonies, because as you see the headline, the first two things that I called BS on was the aliens part and shooting down a chariot. That there are no so-called green little men in the chariots, which they call today so-called UFOs. All right, the angels, have color. All right, the angels are so-called black men. All right. In fact, we're going to get it right now just to bring this out. All right. And they didn't shoot down no so-called UFO. All right. That's a lie. But I want to bring this out. Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof as the color of amber out of the midst of the fire. Right, this is clearly describing a so-called UFO. All right, a chariot, just like it's written in the book of Exodus. All right, when Moses wrote that it was a pillar of fire by night. In fact, I'll get it. So I got it right here. I'll get the part where the Lord took out these Egyptians' wheels so that they couldn't chase the children of Israel no more. All right, through the Suez Canal, which is part of the Red Sea. But that's the part that Moses and the children of Israel walked through. All right, they walked through the Suez Canal to get to the Sinai Peninsula, and Pharaoh and his army were chasing Moses and the children of Israel through the Suez Canal. All right, but the Lord stopped Pharaoh and his army in their tracks. And here's the point right here. It says in Exodus chapter 14, I'll start at 23, and the Egyptians pursued and went in after them to the midst of the sea, even all Pharaoh's horses, his chariot, and his horsemen. Right, Pharaoh and his army. 24, and it came to pass that in the morning, which the Lord looked onto the host of the Egyptians, right, the army of the Egyptians, through the pillar of fire, see, pillar of fire, and of the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians, right, because how did he trouble them? 25, and took off their chariot wheels, right, all right, he hit their chariot wheels with laser beams, all right, so that what would happen to them? That they drave them heavily, right? When you go into the word drave, Okay, it's nahag, which means to drive, to lead. Yeah, the point is to drive, and it drove them uh, heavily. So and they drave them heavily, right? So that the Egyptians said, "Let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord fighteth for them against the Egyptians." Right. So basically, the Lord shot the chariots, shot their chariots wheels. All right, that they couldn't pursue the children of Israel no more. So they wanted to flee back, and that's this is when the Lord said unto Moses in 26, and the Lord said unto Moses, "Stretch out thy hand over the sea, that the waters may come again upon the Egyptians, upon their chariots, and upon their horsemen." 27, and Moses stretched forth his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to his strength when the morning appeared, and the Egyptians fled against it, and the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. Right. And the Egyptians were drowned in the sea. All right, and to this very day, they found chariot wheels, or broken up chariot wheels, okay, in that location, okay. But it goes to show you the power of the Lord. And again, all right, there's no way that now in modern times that, okay, when you read the article, there's talking about the Russian army was able to shoot down a chariot. It's bullshit. Okay. So let's go back to now that we've got the power of those chariots. Now we're going to show you what the angels look like. All right. So now you saw the power of the chariots. Okay. There's no way that they could shoot down a chariot, which they call today a so-called UFO. All right, now we're going to get the appearance of the angels. 5. Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures. And this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. Right, so the angels come in the form of men, not little green aliens. Okay, that's a lie. 6. And everyone had 4 faces, and everyone had 4 wings. 7. And their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot, right? They had basically ninja shoes, okay? All right, just Google ninja shoes. What ninjas wear, what footwear do ninjas wear? That's the type of shoe that they had. And they sparkle like the color of burnished brass. See, they had burnt, meaning they were dark, okay? They were brown, okay? All right, different, a dark brown, okay, burnished brass. So they're not little green men. It's all BS. And there's no way they shot the chariot down. So that's what I said. Okay, you gotta chew the meat, spit the bones. Yeah, there it is. Look, the color is copper, bronze. Okay. What does bronze look like in a furnace? There it is. Very dark. Okay? Dark. All right. Now, of course, if messing, Google has to mess. There we go. There we go. There you go. So the angels, all right, were dark brown. Okay? They were not little green men. That's the point. So let's go into this article because it gets powerful here. It says a bone-chilling document declassified by the CIA has exposed an alleged massacre by the angels from a not crashed UFO who turned an entire military unit into stone. Stone. You see this? It turned entire military into stone. That's the power. All right, that's the power, okay, of the Lord. That's why he's terrible. Again, Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 11. The Lord will be terrible unto them, for he will famish all the gods of the earth. You see that? Okay? He's going to make all these heathens gods, all right, nothing, man, famished. All right? Because hey, this is the creator of heaven and earth, and he's going to use his son, all right? That was given the blueprint to create the heaven and earth, because Yahweh gave the instructions to Yahweh Shai. Okay? And Yahweh Shai is coming back with the angels. All right? Terrible. All right? To slain, man. And men shall worship him, everyone from his place, and even all the isles of the heaven. Right? That's why it says every knee shall bow, man. Every knee shall bow. Yup, here we go. Yep, Romans chapter 14, verse 11. For it is written, as I live, saith the Lord, every knee shall bow to me, and every tongue shall confess to the Most High power, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Right, that's what's coming, man. Because the Lord's coming in power and great glory. You're not going to be able to stop, okay, his judgment. He's coming back terrible. I was trying to find the exact precept. Just bear with me one moment. Yeah, look at this. Psalms chapter 72, verse 11. Yea, all kings shall fall down before him. All nations shall serve him. Right. All nations are going to serve, all right, the children of Israel, starting with Yahweh Shai, who's going to be the king over the children of Israel. Okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the one I was looking for. Yeah, Philippians chapter 2, verse 10. Now I'll start at 9. Wherefore the Most High also hath highly exalted him and given him a name which is above every name, right? That's why the name is so important. The name is very important. It's not Jesus. 10. That at the name of Yahweh Shai, every knee should bow of things in heaven and things in the earth and things on the earth. 11. And that every tongue should confess that Yahweh Shai Mashiach is Lord, to the glory of God the Father, right? So, yeah, that's the precept I wanted to bring out. Okay? But, yeah. So, because when you read this, you're like, yeah, every nation, okay, is gonna bow down to Yahweh Shai, okay, including the chosen people, because we're gonna bow down and reverence Yahweh Shai, okay. According to the report, and Soviet troops shot down a flying saucer, which I call BS on this. That's why you gotta, chew the meat, spit the bones, hovering over the Soviet military unit in Siberia roughly 35 years ago. And what happened next was truly terrifying. In the document summarizing a 250-page top-secret file acquired by the U.S. intelligence agents, eyewitness said 5, again, they're angels, climbed out of their wrecked craft. Again, this is all BS, man. Combine themselves into one creature, explode into a burst of intense energy, and turn 23 soldiers into solid rock. All right? Now, the scriptures do talk about apparitions. Okay? In fact, I got it. Where is it at? All right. So now this is what happened in Egypt. All right? When the Lord placed darkness in Egypt. Okay? and the people were hit with strange apparitions. Yeah, I'll start at Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17, verse 1. Verse 1. For great are thy judgments and cannot be expressed. Therefore, unnurtured souls have erred. For when unrighteous men thought to oppress the holy nation, right, the Egyptians, were oppressing us, they thought that they could have their way with us. They being shut up in their houses, the prisoners of darkness and fettered with the bonds of a long night, lay their exile from the eternal providence. 3. For while they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins, they were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions. Right, because the Lord placed darkness in Egypt, all right, and troubled the Egyptians with strange apparitions. For neither might the corner that held them keep them from fear, but noises as waters falling down sounded about them, and sad visions appeared unto them with heavy countenance. 5. No power of the fire might give them light, neither could the bright flames of the stars endure the lighten that horrible night. Okay, so the Lord was terrifying the Egyptians. So that's what reminded me. This is what these Russian soldiers believed what they saw, but it just could be the Lord, all right, hitting them with strange apparitions, all right, before he turned them into solid rock, all right. And that's just my opinion, all right. I do not believe they saw little green men coming out of a crashed chariot, okay. But they did get rocked though by the Lord's wrath. One CIA official referred to the shocking battle as a horrific picture of revenge on the part of extraterrestrial creatures, a picture that makes one's blood freeze. Yeah, see, they're going to be scared. All right? They're going to be fearful. See, when the Lord returns, man, everyone is going to be wailing, all right, and gnashing, man. Okay? People are going to be screaming. They're going to be terrified. All right? They're going to be catching heart attacks, strokes. The agency added that the extremely menacing case proved that angels who had visited Earth possessed weapons and technology far beyond the U.S. government's assumptions, suggesting that they were aware of the alien. It's not aliens. It's the angels' existence. The unearthed document declassified in 2000 was recently the topic of the AI or Evil podcast, where host Josh Hooper revealed that 2 of the soldiers at the UFO crash site actually survived the encounter. All right. And again, I don't believe there was a crash site at all. Okay. But here it is. So yeah, the Lord is coming back terrible, man. And that's why you got to fear. First Chronicles chapter 16, verse 24. Declare his glory among the heathen, his marvelous works among all nations. Verse 25, for great is the Lord and greatly to be praised. He also is to be feared above all gods. You see? Because why? 26, for all the gods of the people are idols, but the Lord made the heavens. Exactly. Okay? That's why you're supposed to give him glory and honor. All right? All the time. So yeah, that's it. I don't want to make this too long. But yeah, the Lord is terrible. Okay? And hey, you know what? One more milk scripture. Isaiah just came to my mind. Isaiah chapter 66, verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to rend his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. That's right. The Lord's coming in them chariots. Light people up with laser beams. 16. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. You see? All right? So yeah. So I'll put this in the description box. Again, chew the meat, spit the bones. We already know there's no such thing as little green men. And we know damn well that these devils didn't shoot down no chariot. All right? But we do know the Lord can create strange apparitions for them. Okay? Plague them in the mind. Okay? The Lord, hey, that's actually when you read spirit is moving real quickly. Ecclesiastes. No, not Ecclesiastes. Lamentations chapter 3. Check this out. um, Lamentations chapter 3, verse 64. Render unto them a recompense, O Yahweh, according to the works of their hands. Right? And the Lord is going to render a righteous payback, because that's what recompense means. All right, to all the heathens. All right, that oppressed us. All right, and did all types of abominable acts towards us. 65. But here's the point: give them sorrow of heart, thy curse unto them. Right, a sorrow of mind, man, plague the mind. Okay. 66. Persecute and destroy them in anger from under the heavens, O Lord Yahweh. Right. So yeah. Another one, plague. Give me anything but the plague of the heart. Because who gives the plagues? The Lord. So he was just plaguing their mind. All right. Giving them a psychological war ass whooping. Plague heart. Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 25 verse 13. Give me any plague but the plague of the heart. You see? And any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman. Right. Okay. And you don't want to have a wicked woman underneath your roof. That's hell. So, yeah. So, hey, that's what I think. I believe the Lord just hit them with psychological warfare, fucked their heads up. They thought they saw something that they didn't. But, hey, them soldiers got turned into solid rock, right? Just like Lot's wife got turned into a pillar of salt, right? So, yeah. Hey, the Lord's terrible. That's why he needs to be worshipped and needs to be feared. And you need to be calling on his name. Just talking to our people, you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, okay, that dwell here in Babylon. He needs to be calling on his name. His name is Yahweh Shai. His name is not Jesus, okay? So, Lord willing us edify. I want to give all praise and all glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who grew well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And salutation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai's sake. Love you, brothers. Keep it door, keep the faith, keep pushing, keep fighting, keep studying, pray without ceasing, pray for each other, pray for the apostle elders. We're almost out of here, man. This is juicy stuff. You got to get excited. Hey, and we already know, okay, what this is all about. So, hey, let's keep going. To the few sisters that are watching, keep studying. When you pray, praise, recover, shalom.